Oh, Mrs. Hudson.
Natalie, what happened? Who's been searching this room?
Well, he came this morning right after you left for shopping. He pushed his way in.
Who did?
Well, he said he was a detective. Showed me a badge and started looking around.
What for? I don't understand.
Neither do I, ma'am. He found something in that drawer. Letters, I think. Told me to initial them and ran out.
What kind of letters?
Oh, I don't know. He said he'd be sure to get in touch with you later. Oh, and this came for you a few minutes ago.
I'll get it. Hello? Yes, this is Mrs. Arthur Hudson. Who? But I don't even know you. But that's impossible. How can I? All right. All right, yes, I'll be right over. Natalie, if my husband calls, will you tell him I'll be out for the rest of the afternoon? $10,000. Couldn't you give me a few more weeks?
Tonight, Mrs. Hudson, before midnight. Or you know it'll happen.
14 is even on a black. Make your bet some time. You can't bet after the ball's rolled. Number 7. 7 is out and it's black.
Mrs. Arthur Hudson is here to see you. Right. You can go right in. Thank you. Mr. Shayne? I'm Christine Hudson.
Now, Mrs. Hudson, won't you sit down?
Thank you.
What can I do for you?
Well, I need some help. I owe someone a great deal of money.
Well, I'm not running a loan agency, Mrs. Hudson.
Yes, I know. This is rather an awkward situation, and, well, I need someone like you to handle it for me.
Is your husband Arthur Hudson of Hudson Electronics?
Yes, he is.
Well, he's supposed to be a very wealthy man. Why not ask him for the money?
$10,000? We've only been married for 2 months, Mr. Shayne. Arthur's wonderful to me. I have charge accounts everywhere, but very little cash.
Is that why you borrowed the $10,000?
Well, that's just it. I didn't borrow it. I lost it gambling. I don't want Arthur to know about it.
That's understandable.
Mr. Shayne, I have these. They're insured for $30,000. Maybe you could raise $10,000 on him in a hurry.
Well, you don't need me for that.
Well, yes, I do. I don't know where to go, and I wouldn't want anyone to know about this.
Won't your husband miss the pearls?
No, I have an exact copy, and I know I can redeem them in a couple of weeks.
Who were you in hot to?
A man named Barbizon at the Playmore Club.
Barbizon, huh? What did you do, give him a bum check?
No, my IOU. But if I don't pay him the money before midnight tonight, he'll turn it over to my husband.
Well, I'll do what I can.
What about your fee?
I'll send you a bill, if I can help it.
Thank you, Mr. Shayne.
Not at all. Well, it's after 6. The banks and the pawn shops are closed.
Cultured?
Me?
You know perfectly well I mean the pearls.
Hey, that looks just like the string I gave Beverly for her birthday.
Well, there's one slight difference. These happen to be insured for $30,000.
Wow.
Question is, where's a safe place to keep them? That is until tonight.
Around my neck.
I said a safe place.
Ah.
How long are we keeping these sardines for Miss Murphy next door?
Just till she gets back from her vacation.
Well, why not?
Edgar Allan Poe. Quote, the best place to hide anything is in plain sight. Unquote.
An absolute genius.
Angel, how about dinner tonight at the Playmore Club?
I'd love to. But isn't that gambling place?
Right, and that's exactly what we're going for, a gamble.
Red and it's even. Make your bets. Get down on time.
That was a wonderful dinner.
Oh, the restaurants are come on. With what they make on the tables, they can afford to feed you cheap. All right, Mike. Three's a crowd. Why'd you invite me?
Oh, I like your company, Tim.
Well, I wish we'd left these things in the aquarium. I'm frankly getting very nervous wearing them.
I think how the fish fell. Yeah, I thought Angus Brown specialized in divorce cases. Looks like he's working for Barbizon.
Oh, I doubt it. He has all the lawyers he needs.
Hey, that's you.
Maybe this is my lucky night.
Hudson's doing all right for himself.
Hudson.
Floyd Hudson, brother of the Arthur Hudson, Hudson Electronics.
I've never known it to fail. Them as has gets. Oh, well, here goes my last chip. I'll try 22.
Who's the girl with him? Looks like Angus is keeping his eye on her.
I don't know, but if she's cheating on her husband, that's right up Brown's alley. The dirtier the case, the better he likes it. Shayne.
Be back in a few minutes. Circulate around and try to make yourself conspicuous, Tim, as if you could avoid it.
Come on, Lucy. I want you to meet a friend of mine.
Who's that?
Well, he's got 3 holes in his head and he swallows quarters.
Oh, he sounds like he needs a doctor.
Oh, I don't know. He's done pretty well with only one arm. No, come on.
It must be fixed. Oh, Floyd, honey, give me some more chips.
Not the way you've been losing.
Oh, come on, I feel lucky.
And I feel stingy. Now lay off, Natalie.
Number 3, it's red.
You won. Oh, the least you can do is give me a steak.
What did I buy?
Happiness?
Sorry, not in the market.
What a fine date you turn out to be. I'm leaving.
Okay, pet. Here's cab fare home. Bet it and you walk.
What do you want?
Just making sure you don't do anything foolish.
Well, now that depends on you. I get more money or don't I?
You don't.
That changes things. I'm afraid I may have to talk to someone. And you know who.
I'm warning you.
You're a bad gambler, Mr. Brown. Don't bluff unless you hold the cards.
9 Make 9. You'd like to feel the hardness. They feel it come. Going for 9. 9 the winner. Pay the line.
Tell me something, Shayne. For What makes you think I'm running a charitable organization?
Nothing. That's why you'll hand over that IOU.
Sure. For 10 grand.
For free.
I don't give things away.
Tim Rourke of the Tribune does. Publicity.
What are you driving at?
He's got a little camera, and he's taking little pictures of big people out there at your roulette wheels.
Hidden cameras get broken, Shayne.
And that gets reporters angry. Then they start writing stories about gambling clubs.
This is blackmail, you know.
One picture's worth 1,000 words, or $10,000. Now be smart, Barbizon. You can afford 10 grand, but you can't afford a front-page spread on the Tribune with pictures. Thanks, Joe.
Any time.
Shall we go?
Mission accomplished?
Mm-hmm.
Would you mind briefing your staff? What were we here for?
Moral support. Come on, let's go.
Right. Sorry, Mr. Barbizon wants to talk to you.
Number 7. Upper top is black.
Rourke, I hear you got a nice camera. I'd like to see it if you don't mind. Photography's my hobby, too.
Camera? What's he talking about?
Beats me.
You mean you weren't taking pictures?
No. Should I be?
Shayne, I think you have something of mine.
If you want it, Joe, you'll have to take it. That might cause a little commotion. The customers might not like a floor show. Back, Joe. Sweet dreams. Huh? The pearls.
Indian giver.
Shayne, come in.
Mrs. Hudson.
I wasn't expecting you. What happened with Joe Barbizon?
Here. We'd better destroy it.
How much did you raise on the pearls?
Nothing, Mrs. Hudson.
Nothing. Well, how'd you pay the $10,000?
I persuaded Barbizon he didn't need the money. Well, what's wrong? You didn't want me to pay him, did you?
Mr. Shayne, now you've ruined everything. I'm in worse trouble than I was before.
I don't understand what you...
Hello, darling.
Hello, Chris. I'm sorry I'm so late.
Arthur, this is Michael Shayne. He's a detective.
Mr. Hudson?
What night?
I discovered my pearls missing a few hours ago, so I called Mr. Shayne.
Why didn't you call the police?
Well, I didn't think you wanted the publicity, and besides, I know how careless you think I am with things.
Most women are. Now, those pearls mean a great deal to my wife. Any luck so far?
We found them.
Yes, here they are. I dropped them in my bedroom behind the bureau, and... Well, I know it was silly of me.
Well, who's out at this hour?
Chris! Arthur, come quick!
That sounds like Floyd.
Probably drunk again.
Sounds like trouble.
What happened? What is it?
Natalie!
Hudson ran her down with his car. But he didn't.
How was she killed?
The medic says death was probably caused by a concussion. Somebody slugged her, and she fell back and cracked her head against the garage door.
Now the question is who?
Mm-hmm. That's number one. Number two is what the family maid was doing out here in an evening gown. And number three.
I know. What's my angle?
Mm-hmm. How about some answers?
I think we'd better get back into the house. It's time I talk to my client.
And then you'll both talk to me. Come on. You said you were working late, Mr. Hudson.
Yes, I was going over some new labor contracts.
Why did you park the car in front of the house instead of using the garage?
I noticed a strange car outside. I was curious to see who was visiting my wife at this hour.
Mrs. Hudson, how long has the maid been working for you?
About a month.
I asked your wife.
Now, can't you see how upset she is?
It's all right, Arthur. I'll answer Mr. Gentry's questions.
You said you called Shayne in when you found your pearls were missing.
Yes, but they were just mislaid.
You think the maid had anything to do with it?
I'm not sure what to think.
Whatever that means. You said you took Natalie to dinner at the Playmore Club, is that right?
Mm-hmm. As far as it goes.
Now, what does that mean?
Well, if I took her to dinner, next step would be to figure that I brought her home. And if I brought her home, well, that puts me in an uncomfortable position, doesn't it? But I didn't.
Didn't what?
Bring her home. She walked out on me at the club. Next thing I saw of her was in front of the garage. Dead.
Isn't it a little unusual you're dating the family maid?
You're beginning to sound like my brother, Floyd. Arthur disapproves of me. He'd prefer I socialized in my own class. With someone like, shall we say, Christine.
That's enough.
Floyd, must you always make trouble?
Chris, please, you embarrass me. If I really wanted to make trouble, I'd mention that man today, wouldn't I?
What man?
The one Natalie told me about. He was a detective, wasn't he, Chris?
Well,
How about it, Mrs. Hudson?
Well, I haven't had a chance to tell you about it yet. It's all such a big mystery to me. A man searched the house. Natalie let him in, and, well, he said he was from the police department.
Will Gentry, anyone from your office search a house at 74 Walnut Lane today? Name's Hudson. You positive? Okay, thank you. Well, Mrs. Hudson, whoever it wasn't the police.
Arthur, I don't think I feel very well.
Chris! Do you see what you've done? I don't want her questioned any further, not until she's had some rest.
Better get upstairs.
Good morning, Angel.
Good morning.
You're in bright and early?
I'm always more efficient when I've been taken out to dinner, but someone was even here before me.
Yeah? Who's that?
Well, she's waiting in your office.
Feeling better today, Mrs. Hudson?
I'm sorry. I had to pretend to faint, Mr. Shayne. I couldn't answer any more questions. But there are some things I'd like to explain to you.
Fine. Then let's try the truth this time. What did you mean I'd ruined everything when I gave you the pearls and the IOU?
I told you to pay Barbizon $10,000 by midnight, but you didn't pay him. You see, there never was any gambling debt, Mr. Shayne. I was being blackmailed.
What?
The man who searched my house found some letters, romantic letters. He sent me some photostats of them.
Do you have them with you?
Yes, I do. They were supposed to be written to me by a secret lover.
Supposed to be.
Oh, they're fakes.
Darling, you can't imagine how much I miss you. I'll call you in a few days and we'll be together again. All my love, David. How were these delivered to you?
A messenger brought them to my house. Then Barbizon called and said if I didn't pay him the $10,000, he'd turn the letters over to my husband.
So you went to see Barbizon?
He told me to give him an IOU while I tried to raise the money. So if I had to ask Arthur for the money, I could say I lost at gambling.
And your IOU protected him from a blackmail rap. Who's David?
David Morrison. I recognize his handwriting. I was his secretary.
For how long?
About 2 months. Then I quit to marry Arthur. David was very nice to me, but he could never have written those letters.
When was the last time you saw him?
Last week, we had lunch together. Well, it was just an accident. I happened to bump into him on the street.
Mrs. Hudson, either you're in the middle of a frame-up, or you're the most accomplished liar I've ever met.
Are you going to find out which?
Do you want me to?
Yes, I do.
Then I will. You'll be hearing from me. I'll just keep these if you don't mind.
Oh, excuse me. How about that? I walk in and she walks out. Whatever happened to fair play?
Now, while you're looking for it, run this down for me.
What is it?
It's a photostat. Check on the places that handle jobs like that and find out who had it made.
Okay.
Angel, let me see the phone book a minute, will you? Let's see. M. 277 Spring Avenue.
Where's that?
For all I know, it may be Lover's Lane.
Shayne here to see your husband, Mrs. Morrison.
Oh, is David expecting you?
I don't know, ma'am.
I hope I'm not disturbing you, Mrs. Morrison.
You can go, Charlotte.
I stopped by your husband's office, and they said he was home.
Oh, are you a friend of David's?
No, I'm not.
Well, you look very familiar. Haven't I seen your picture in the papers?
Possibly.
Oh, I know. Of course, you're Michael Shayne, the detective. Did my husband hire you?
Now, why would he do that, Mrs. Morrison?
Oh, you're very adroit. The questioner becomes the question. I don't know. My husband might do any number of things. He has too much time and much too much money.
Is he here?
Mm-hmm. He's at the pool, paying his usual tribute to the sun. It's, right down there, beyond the tennis court.
Thank you.
Not at all.
Mr. Morrison?
Huh? Who is it?
My name is Michael Shayne.
I left word I didn't want to be disturbed.
Sorry, this won't wait. My letter of introduction.
Where the devil did this come from?
This is Arthur Hudson.
You mean Christine Thomas?
That's right. Hudson's her married name. She used to be your secretary.
I haven't seen her in months.
You saw her last week.
Oh, yes, for lunch. Slipped my mind. Who are you, anyway?
I told you. Mike Shayne. I'm a private detective.
Well, this is a forgery anyway. What's in this for you? Blackmail?
Hardly. That photostat could be mixed up in a murder case.
What? Whose murder?
The Hudson's maid. You say this is a forgery, but Christine claims the handwriting is yours.
Well, she's wrong. It looks like mine, but it's not.
Who had access to a sample of your handwriting?
Everyone I ever sent a letter to, I suppose.
And you were never in love with Christine?
Of course not. It was a business relationship, that's all.
I see. Maybe your wife can shed some light on this.
If you go near Estelle, I'll break your neck.
You've got quite a temper, Mr. Morris. Don't let it get out of hand. Or has it?
Now, what the devil do you mean by that?
Take a look at today's paper. The story's on the front page.
Floyd. I didn't hear you come in.
I'm light on my feet, Chris. An old habit.
Where's Arthur?
He's downstairs working in the study. It takes more than a murder to stop the wheels of commerce. You're nervous.
Am I?
Your hand is shaking. Is it me?
No, of course not.
You don't like me, do you, Chris?
I never said that.
You always seem so uncomfortable whenever I'm around. It must be hard, though. A new bride in a house with two men. Don't you find it difficult?
Don't be ridiculous.
There I go again, asking leading questions. I'm not really so bad, though, as black sheep go. Some girls find me very interesting.
Like Natalie?
She enjoyed my company. Poor kid. I wonder who killed her.
I can't imagine who.
You know, there's one interesting thing about dating the family maid. You find out where all the dirt is swept under the carpet.
What do you mean?
Natalie was drunk last night. And when women drink, they get very talkative. She told me all about a certain letter from a man named... Well, you know his name, don't you?
That letter was fake.
Maybe. If it is, why don't you tell my brother?
Well, I don't want to upset him.
Well, then, we'll keep it a secret. Why, you little...
Hands off of me! Take your hands off of me! I
I should have done that a long time ago. Now you go pack your stuff and get out of here.
Now, look, Art...
Now, shut up! I've been carrying you ever since college. Well, the ride's over.
Not for you, it isn't. I'm coming down to your office this afternoon. I'm going to tell you a few things you may not like.
He was leaving, huh?
Bag and baggage. He looked angry. I was with some of the reporters that tried to get a story. Wouldn't even talk to us.
So Brother Floyd was handed an eviction notice.
It looks that way.
Yes?
Dick's here.
Send him in, Angel. One of my troops.
Reporting as ordered, Mon General?
With good news, I hope?
Yeah, here. That photostat was made by the A&B Printing Company.
Who was the customer?
A man named Angus Brown. He's a lawyer. Does that mean something?
Maybe. Tim, you know more about Brown than I do. Give me a rundown.
Angus Brown. He's almost been disbarred twice. Ambulance chaser. Specializes in dirty divorce cases. About as straight as a pretzel.
Why don't you have a talk with him?
About what?
About these. He apparently sent them to Christine Hudson. Now, see if you can't get him to open up. I'll meet you there as soon as I can.
Where are you going?
Last place I saw him, the Playmore Club.
What about me?
No, better feed the fish. They're probably hungry.
Oui, Mon General.
Joe in?
He might be. Who are you?
Angus Brown.
Glad to see you, Mr. Barbizon. Says his name is Angus Brown.
I told him not to come back here.
Why, Joe? Did he cause you some trouble? Where'd he come from?
What's Brown?
You fool, that's Mike Shayne.
I don't like people lying to me, mister.
Well, I'll tell you the truth. Guys like you make me nervous. Go on out and buy yourself a new personality, huh?
Yep.
Well, what is it? Read the papers today? Why, you selling subscriptions? Girl was murdered last night. She was here just before it happened. So were a lot of people, including you. But she was Christine Hudson's maid. What's that to me? A lot. If the police tie you in with Christine, they'll find out about that IOU. I don't think you want to be tagged with a blackmail rap. So you know, most of it. I figure you need some help, Joe. Maybe I do. Whole thing's backfired. I was just doing a favor for a friend. Angus Brown? Yeah. Just get the IOU from the pigeon, she'll pay you the 10 grand, no pain, no strain. That's what he said. And you fell for it? Well, I owed him a favor. Did he tell you what kind of a deal he was pulling? He said he planted some letters in a girl's house. Planted? Yeah. Then he pretended that he was a cop and just happened to find them. That's an old racket. Who hired him to pull it? The man in the moon. How do I know? You think maybe he had some inside help? Like, for instance, a maid? He didn't tell me. Well, thanks a lot, Joe. In your own way, you've been a big help. If you find Brown, I want to see him. Sorry, Joe. Gentry gets him first for blackmail. Maybe murder.
It the hard way. Take safe, feel it down.
Excuse me. I was supposed to pick up some papers in Mr. Brown's office, and he's not in.
So?
Well, I thought you could open the door for me.
Ain't allowed.
Look, I have a problem.
I got 6 kids and a lazy husband. Don't nobody talk to me about problems.
Solve a few of them.
George Washington, a handsome man. Too bad he don't have a brother.
Hello, Lucy. This is Tim. Is Mike called in? Well, look, if he does, tell him to meet me as soon as possible. Yeah, he knows where I am. Tell him I found Angus Brown.
Shall I call the police? No, not just yet, Tim.
What are you after?
The original letters that Brown had photostated. The killer didn't get them.
Somebody sure went over this place.
Yeah. Interesting.
Why?
Morrison's wife was a client of Brown's.
Significant?
Not sure, but it ties certain things together.
Mike, you're gonna have to print that in capital letters. I'm a little slow today.
Well, the whole thing hinges on Brown. He was hired to plant letters in Christine's house. Why, I don't know. Then he started blackmailing her with Barbazone's help.
What about the maid?
Got a pretty good hunch she was Brown's accomplice. Maybe doing a little blackmailing on her own.
And Estelle Morrison?
Question mark. So's her husband.
Yeah, talking about question marks. What about Floyd and Arthur Hudson? I better go back to crossword puzzles.
What do you mean? You're in the middle of one right now. How about giving me a hand? I'd sure like to find those letters.
Sure.
Angus Brown. It's your stuff. Hey, Tim.
Hmm?
Well, notice anything?
Yeah, somebody's been banging this with something heavy.
And what's that tell us?
Well, it's elementary, my dear Watson. The killer couldn't find what he was looking for. If he could, he wouldn't have tried to break into this safe.
Which means our letters are probably right there. 3 inches away.
3 inches of solid steel. You know a good safe cracker?
Just one. The guy who's going to do our work for us.
What do you figure he wanted in the safe?
Oh, I haven't any idea, Will. Jewelry, money?
Well, we'll find out. That almost open? All right, let's go over this again. You came up here because you were doing a story on local lawyers, is that it? Yeah, that's right. And, Mike just happened to tag along.
Yeah. What? You sound like you don't believe us, Will.
You're right, I don't. You're just lucky Brown's been dead almost a day. If that body hadn't been cold, I'd have hauled you both downtown.
Wait a minute, Will. How long did you say he's been dead?
At least 15 hours.
That means he was killed last night.
Mm-hmm. Strangled. Why?
2 murders back to back. I'd say that's pretty interesting.
Stock certificates, personal letters. Question is, which is the motive for murder? My darling, tonight I miss you more than ever. I can hardly wait until next week when I'll be seeing you again. Oh, my love, David.
Let's see him in a minute, Will.
Hey, what do you know? What? Well, I own a few shares of these myself. Looks like Brown was a sucker for speculation. Those letters mean anything?
No, I don't think so, Will. Brown was a divorce lawyer. He's probably got plenty of them.
Hey, remind me to come down to headquarters sometime and read a few of those. Yeah, I'll do that. But when you get there, you'll be talking, not reading.
Oh, you're not going to hold us, are you, Will?
No, but you're on thin ice. That goes for you, too. Just report the news. Don't create it.
Come on, Tim. Now, compare the watermarks.
Well, one's a crown, the other's a star. I don't get it.
When we were in Brown's office, I noticed the kind of stationery the love letters were written on. It was Signet Bond.
That's the same kind we use.
Right. Now, this is a sheet of ours, and this is one of the love letters. They're both Signet Bond, but the watermarks don't match.
Oh, why?
That's what we've got to find out. Lucy, where do we buy our stationery?
The pen and ink shop.
Get them on the phone, will you? They're probably still open.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Come on, Mike. Give.
Patience is a virtue, Tim.
In my book, so is curiosity.
Hold on a moment, please. Michael?
Pen and ink shop? This is Michael Shayne. I'd like some information, please. I wonder if you can tell me when Signet Bond changed their watermark from a crown to a star. Uh-huh. Oh, that's fine. Thank you very much.
Well?
The watermark was changed 4 years ago.
Which means?
That our love letters were probably written 4 years ago, before Christine worked for Morrison and before she was married.
Why was it found in her house?
To frame David Morrison.
What?
Brown was a divorce lawyer. He had a file on Estelle Morrison. Put 2 and 2 together.
And she hired him to plant the letters in the house?
Right.
Why?
Lucy, if you wanted to divorce a man and get a nice settlement, what would you do?
I'd probably try to make it look like he was cheating on me.
That's exactly what Estelle Morrison was trying to do.
All right, then why was Christine blackmailed?
I figure that was Brown's idea. He figured he had a chance to pick up a little extra dividend.
Michael Shayne's office. Yes, one moment, please. Christine Hudson.
Yes, Mrs. Hudson.
Mr. Shayne, I need your help.
What happened?
Arthur found out about the letters.
How?
Well, Floyd told him. He said he killed David Morrison.
Where's your husband now?
We found out David's at the Playmore Club. He's on his way over there.
I'm leaving right away. I'll meet you there. Tim, get hold of Gentry and fill him in.
Suppose he asks where you're going.
I'll be at the Playmore Club.
Take your best. Get down on time.
You look bored, David.
I am. I never did share your interest in gambling.
Better than sitting at home. Woman has to do something to keep herself occupied.
17.
Not this way, Estelle.
Oh, you just don't understand. You never did.
All right, where is he?
Over there.
Number 7. 7 is odd and it's black. Take your best. You're going out again.
Morrison.
Yes?
I'm Arthur Hudson.
Oh, yes. Chris's husband.
We have some business to settle.
Business? What business?
I'm talking about the letters, the ones you sent to my wife.
Look, Hudson, relax. Let me explain. I'll buy you a drink.
Take it easy, man. Take it easy. Let go. We better go in the office.
Mrs. Hudson.
I hope we're not too late.
Well, we'll soon find out.
Go, ladies. Point, make 8. You like shake the hard way.
Hello, Mr. Shayne. Chris, you missed all the fireworks.
What do you mean?
Well, my brother came charging in here like a bull. Seems he and David Morrison don't like each other. Wonder why.
This is all your fault. It's your way of getting back at me.
Getting back at you? Oh, I don't understand. Where are they? Joe Barbizon took them into a neutral corner. His office.
Come on.
Now, wait.
You started this, Floyd. You may as well see the finish.
Don't you understand, Hudson? I didn't write those letters. Someone's trying to get me into trouble. Why don't you two settle your differences somewhere else? Who invited you, Shayne?
The door was open.
It's an oversight I'll have to correct.
You shouldn't have followed me.
I'm sorry, darling, but I was worried about you. Come on, let's go home.
Just a minute, Mrs. Hudson. A few things have to be settled first.
Do it outside. You're not paying rent here.
Won't take long, Joe. Besides, it might interest you. It concerns Angus Brown.
What's he done now?
Got himself killed. Does that surprise you, Mrs. Morrison?
No. I didn't even know the man.
I'm afraid you did. He was your lawyer.
What is this all about? What did you need a lawyer for?
To divorce you, Morrison.
To divorce me? Estelle, is this true?
You have a very clever wife. She hired Brown to plant letters in Christine Hudson's house.
Estelle, why?
Because I can't stand the sight of you, that's why. Because if things had worked out, I would have used those letters to squeeze you dry.
But things didn't work out. 2 people were murdered.
Well, I had nothing to do with it.
I know. The letters that caused all this trouble, where did you get them?
They were old love letters.
To whom?
To me, from David.
But you told me they were forgeries.
They were. She's lying.
You have any more at home?
Oh, boxes of them.
Well, that does it, Morrison. The police can make a comparison. Style of writing, age of the paper, ink.
All right. I wrote those letters. But I didn't kill anyone. Someone else had a better reason.
Brown was strangled. Your wife doesn't have the strength. This was a man's crime, Morrison, yours. Why did you do it?
The maid called me last night. She said my wife was trying to divorce me. That some letters had been planted that could cost me a fortune. Then she asked me to meet her at the Hudson garage. When I got there, I found out about Brown. Then she claimed she had the letters. When I asked her for them, she laughed at me.
That's very funny. A real scream. You think I'm just gonna hand them over on a silver platter? What is it, your birthday or something?
Now, you listen to me.
No, you listen to me. Your wife wants to play you for a sucker. That's not my problem. But I'll tell you one thing. I don't give you the letters until I get $20,000.
You must be out of your mind.
Oh, am I? Either I get it from you or your wife gets what she wants. Take your pick.
I couldn't believe it. She was dead. No pulse. Blood on the side of her head. I just lost my temper. I didn't mean to kill her.
You meant to kill Brown, didn't you? He knew Natalie was going to call you.
I arranged for a meeting at his office. I offered him money to keep quiet and give me the letters. But I could tell he'd hold me up for money for the rest of my life.
So you killed him and searched the office. You had one piece of bad luck. The letters were in the safe.
I better call the police.
Not in here, you don't. Sorry, Joe. You're in on the payoff, too.
You wanted us, Mr. Barbizon?
Barbizon's protection isn't going to do him much good this time.
You've had a big night, Will. 2 birds with 1 stone.
Mm-hmm. You know, I don't mind you helping me, Mike, and I don't like the car. But couldn't you just operate a little more inside the law?
Oh, what do you mean, Will?
That letter you took from Brown's office wasn't exactly the height of legality.
When did you find out about it?
Just after you left. I was ready to put out an alert for you when Tim called.
Always happy to be of service.
Get your story, Tim?
Yeah, Morrison was very talkative, poor guy. Especially about his wife. She got him into this thing.
Well, I think we're finished here. Ready to go?
Just a minute. Would you loan me a quarter?
Oh, sure.
Here. I've been aching to do this for an hour. And with my luck and with nothing, I'll have to blow a fuse.
Touch one of those and I'll have to run you in.
But Will...